coming from this Greek word cola, Greek word which means glue-like, not pure liquid, not pure solid, in between this glue-like. So this is called colloidal colloids, and it is of two types: lyophilic and lyophobic. Lyo means any solvent, or if I say aquaphilic, that means water loving, and aquaphobic means water hating. In case of lyo, means any type of liquid, and if I mention aqua, means water only. So in this way, lyophilic and lyophobic. Other example of colloidal is milk, fogs. You in your class 12, there was a table where different type of dispersion phase and dispersed phase and dispersion medium. There are various type of colloids like liquid in liquid, for example, milk; solid in gas; gas in liquid; liquid in gas. In this way, by changing the dispersed phase and dispersion medium, there are various examples of colloidal system. Now, now you see the properties of this important topic is the properties of the first one is optical property. You know, if you have a colloidal solution and like this, and you pass a light, then you will see a visible light from this colloidal solution. And this effect is first observed by Tyndall, scientist Tyndall. That's why this optical property of colloidal solution, this is the scattering of light by this colloidal particle, is called Tyndall effect. And it is due to the reason you know, in case of true solution, for example, sugar in water, if I say this is the water molecule, if this is water molecule and sugar molecule is like this, you know, the small particle. So this sugar molecule will be inserted or solvated in this way. Okay, they are in between the or solvated into the solvent molecule. So that's why it make after adding sugar into aqueous or water, you get a clear solution. But if I say this is a colloidal solution, then if I say this is water, the colloidal will be, for example, like this. Their particle size are larger than the solvent molecule. So you see, for this large size, it is not possible to adjust this molecule into this space, interatomic space, or in between the water molecule, or cannot solvate it into the free space of the solvent molecule. So that's why they are suspended into the solvent molecule. If this is water or any solvent, other solvent, so they are like this. They are suspended like this. Now, when you pass light through this, since they are suspended into the solvent, they scatter this light due to the large size, or in this way. Scattering means in all possible directions they scatter the light. So that's why you see a visible. If you pass a light through this true solution, you cannot see any light, but it is simply visible light you will observe, and this optical properties of colloidal solution is called Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect. So this is the optical properties. Second is kinetic properties. Kinetic property, and you know, Robert Brown in 1827 uh, observed that, just a minute, some students are waiting. So in kinetic property, uh, Robert Brown observed that he did the experiment on pollen grain. It is a plant seed, one type of plant seed, and when this pollen grain is in constant random motion, he observed that they are in constant random motion like the gas molecule. And then later he did the experiment on other colloidal solution or lyophobic salts and observed that not only the pollen grain but also all other colloidal solution show the this movement. They are in constant random motion like the gas molecule, in this way, constantly changing their direction like this. So this type of movement is due to the that they are in contact with the solvent molecule, uh, which have kinetic energy, and when this solvated molecule or the dispersed phase in contact with each other, they exchange the kinetic energy with the solvent molecule, and they also start moving like this. So this kinetic activity of particle is called the Brownian movement, and it is due to the bombardment motion of the colloidal particle by the solvent molecule. So this property is called, you already known with this term, Brownian movement. For this, since Robert Brown first observed this movement of the colloidal particle, that's why it is called Brownian movement, and it is the kinetic properties of the colloidal particle. Now, third one is the important property, which is the electrical property. Electrical property, and in electrical property, it is seen that the colloidal particle carry charges, may be positive or negative, but they have a specific or charge. Like if I say I add AgNO3 and NaI, and it will form AgI plus NaNO3. Now this AgI is colloids or dispersed phase. Now it carry positive or negative charge depending on the amount of this ratio. For example, if I say if I add excess of NaI and this, if I take 2 ml of AgNO3 and add 6 ml of or 10 ml of NaI, taking excess of NaI, then this AgI will be like this. If you this is your AgI colloid particle, then it will absorb I minus. That means it is positively charged and absorb it absorb I minus on the surface of adsorb means when the absorption is on the surface. Then this AgI adsorb iodide on the surface of it, because you take Na in excess and it is Na plus and I minus, but it 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 absorbs I minus, not Na plus, because I minus is common with this AgI. It will absorb that ion which is common in this one. You have AgI, I is here. So instead of absorb Na plus, it will absorb I minus. Now since I minus in the solution, you have Na plus I minus and NO3 minus, Na plus NO3 minus and Ag plus also. All ions are present. Now it adds up I minus due to the common ion effect. And again, since I minus, it will attract this, further attract this I minus, Na plus, the counter ion of it. Okay. Again, this Na plus also attract NO3 minus. So in this way, there form a layers of these ions or ionic layers, and these ionic layers decrease or ionic effect decrease with the distance. You see in this, they are very large in number and they are compact layer, and since with distance their effect decreasing, so number of ions will decrease, but there will be different type of layers. We will discuss later. Now, second case, if I take this AgNO3 in excess, now I am taking this AgNO3 excess. In that case, the AgI will adsorb Ag plus. Since Ag plus and NO3 in excess, but it have due to the common ion it has Ag in a formula. So Ag plus will adsorb at the surface of this chloride. Similar way, there will be Ag plus then NO3 minus and in NO3 minus. So due to this property, they absorb the positive ion. Now this due to this ionic layer, there will be different potential difference. And if I draw a picture of this, so it will be seen like this. First, your AgI, for example, this is the AgI, and it absorbs I minus. Taking the first case when we took the NaI in excess, I minus is adsorbed. That means it is absorbed on the surface, attached with the surface of AgI in this way. So this is I minus. This is one thing. Now this, if I taking a divide this all this like this plane, it will absorb first Na plus, Na plus, Na plus, and the force of attraction is very strong, and that's why the number of Na plus is more, as well as their compact. They are called compact layer since force of attraction is very strong. Now, in this way, there will be second layer where this Na plus now further attract NO3 minus, but since the force of attraction is decreasing with this distance, so they are not compact like in this way. And due to this, there will be some Na plus also. The mixture of NO3, Na plus and NO3 minus in this way. Only Na plus, and this is mix of Na plus and Na3 minus, and there will be the bulky portion, the large from this particle in the solvent or bulky portion, where only the same ion are present and they are somehow electrically neutral. So this for this portion, this first portion is called compact layer. Since they are compact, they are very close to each other. Compact layer or the strong layer. Okay, and this other portions is called diffuse layer or Govey Chapman layer. They are not so compact, they are somehow far to each other from each other. And this layer, this two layer is this plus this is called electrical double layer. Double means two. This is one type of layers and this is another type of layer. And there will be a potential difference because they are somehow electrically neutral and they are positive negative. So there will be the charge difference between these two layers, and the charge department decrease like this. in this compact layer, the charge difference will be very high. So your voltage or charge difference or potential will be high. Now with the distance or with this diffuse layer, it decreases and going to zero. So this potential difference is called zeta potential. Zeta potential, that is the potential difference between the tightly bound layer and the electrically neutral region, and it determines the stability of colloidal system. If the charge difference is very high, then it will be more stable. Now, so you should know that the colloidal system form the electrical double layer. This is more important. The electrical double layer, they are arranged in this way. I am showing this figure in the two dimension, but this is like this one in the round around the colloidal particle. Okay, so this is your electrical property of colloidal system, and there is one important property of the electrokinetic. That means the combination of electrical and kinetic properties, which is called electrokinetic. Electrokinetic properties are two types. Electrophoresis and electroosmosis. Okay, electrophoresis and electroosmosis. Now, electroosmosis you already know, where the solvent molecule can move, not the solute. Osmosis mean, and electrophoresis mean, electro means when you applied an electric field, that is the positive and negative voltage. There will be electrode positive and electrode positive and a negative electrode, and when we applied an electric field through this electrode, there will be movement of the particle will move, not solvent. That is, your dispersed phase will move, not the dispersion medium, and the opposite of it here, the solvent will move, not particle. So one by one, I am showing the difference between two. In case of electrophoresis, the arrangement is like this. You will have a U-shaped tube, and it is like this. Now you have first water here. This is water, and we apply two electrodes, positive and negative, immerse on this water. Now we have our, this is simply water, and we have our colloidal solution in this reservoir. And then there is a stopcock. When you open it, this colloidal solution will fill this, like this. Okay, and they somehow in the both side they are equal. The height of these two is equal. Now when I apply this electric field or potential, When we apply the electric field, that is the voltage difference between these two electrode, positive, negative. Since we know the colloidal particle carry positive or negative charge, so depend now this is positive and this is negative. If they carry positive charge, I have already shown you like this here. They may be positively charged here or negatively charged. For example, they carry positive charge. Now, when we apply potential electrical field, this positive charge will automatically attract towards the negative electrode. That means now this colloidal solution will move to this negative, and this side, the height of this colloidal side will decrease, and in this side it will increase. And after the applied field, the scenario will be like this. If I only showing this portion, it will be like this. That means all colloidal particles, since carry positive, they are attracted towards the negative and they start moving towards the negative electrode. So from you can see these changes through naked eye. That means we simply we can see without microscope. Simply we see we that this particle, that means the height of this side is increasing. So we see the observing the height changes or the difference between these two side of this YouTube, we can say that this is carry the positive charge. Or if this side the height is increasing in this side, that means colloidal particle carry negative charge. That's why they attract towards the positive. So by observing the height change or their movement, we can get an idea about the type of or sign of charge the colloidal particle carry. So this is the electrophoresis, and you see here the colloidal particle is moving, not the solvent. The arrangement is like this. And in case of electroosmosis, the case is opposite. Uh, we take colloidal solution through this, and they are the membrane whose whose pore size, this membrane pore size is so small that this particle cannot pass through this. And you have water here, which is connected to through T tube. Now you see through this membrane only the solvent can move, because the solvent molecule have small size than this particle. Now when we apply positive and negative electrode like this, that is you applied electric field. Since this particle, so always colloidal particle carry, if I say this is positively charged colloidal particle, and solvent molecule or your dispersion medium always carry the opposite charge of the colloidal particle. So automatically this water will have negative charge, and when we apply electrical field, this negatively charged solvent will, from this side, it passing through this and coming this side. So you see the layer in this side will increase and this side decrease, because this water molecule, they also carry negative charge, as since this is positive electrode, so they coming through this membrane to this side, and that's why the layers or the height of this side increases due to the positive electrode. So this movement or this is called the electroosmosis. That is the movement of the solvent or the dispersion medium, not the dispersed phase. And this membrane is due to prevent this colloidal particle to move through this electrode. So this is electroosmosis, and the first one is electrophoresis. Okay, and this concept is used in case of reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis is another topic. Reverse osmosis, that is RO. Generally, we see drink RO water. RO means reverse osmosis, and this type of concept was used in the RO system, RO aqua system. Okay, so this is all about your properties of colloidal solution. In your next class, I will teach you the protective colloids, the gold number, and the remaining topic. So this is very small topic and theoretical, easy topic. That's why I hope only 1-2 class is needed. Uh, so